Hey everybody, welcome into the Fallout Shelter. I got a little uh, short document here for anybody who may be interested, looking for government documentation of weather modification. What I have here, I will put a link in the description. It's from the Office of the Historian, history.state.gov, historical documents. This is Foreign Relations of the United States, 1964 to 1968, Volume 28, Laos, number 274. Memorandum from the Deputy Under Secretary of State for Political Affairs Kohler to Secretary of State Rusk. The subject of the memorandum is weather modification on North Vietnam and Laos, Project Popeye. Probably heard of that before. The Department of Defense has requested our approval to initiate the operational phase of Project Popeye in selected areas, map at clip 2, along the infiltration routes in North Vietnam and southern Laos. The objective of the program is to produce sufficient rainfall along these lines of communication to interdict or at least interfere with truck traffic between North and South Vietnam. Recently improved cloud seeding techniques would be applied on a sustained basis in a non-publicized effort to induce continued rainfall through the months of the normal dry season. Background: a test phase of Project Popeye was approved by State and Defense and conducted during October 1966 in a strip of the Lao Panhandle generally east of the Bolivans Plateau in the valley of the Mekong River. The test was conducted without consultation with Lao authorities, but with Ambassador Sullivan's knowledge and concurrence, and to the best of our knowledge remains unknown to other than a severely limited number of U.S. officials. During the test phase, more than 50 cloud seeding experiments were conducted. The results are viewed by the Department of Defense as outstandingly successful. These numbers are pretty outstanding. 82% of the clouds seeded produced rain within a brief period after seeding, a percentage appreciably higher than normal expectation in the absence of seeding. The amount of rainfall induced by seeding is believed to have been sufficient to have contributed substantially to rendering vehicular routes in this area inoperable. Since the end of the rainy season, the communists have failed to undertake route repairs and there has been no vehicular traffic. In one instance, the rainfall continued as the cloud moved eastward across the Vietnam border and inundated a U.S. Special Forces camp with 9 inches of rain in 4 hours. Department of Defense scientists consider that the experiment demonstrated a capacity to raise and maintain rainfall under controlled conditions to the level at which the land is saturated over a sustained period, slowing movement on foot and rendering the operation of vehicles impractical. In our view, the experiments were undeniably successful, indicating that at least under weather and terrain conditions such as those involved, the U.S. government has realized the capability of significant weather modification. If anything, the tests were too successful. Neither the volume of induced rainfall nor the extent of area affected can be precisely predicted. The only absolute control, therefore, is after the fact, i.e., to halt cloud seeding missions. The present DoD proposal would grant authority for the conduct of cloud seeding activities on a sustained basis. For designated areas in North Vietnam, it would mean taking advantage of the present northeast monsoon, the Kraken, to increase normal rainfall. The objective is to inhibit overland vehicular movement and to reinforce the bottlenecks already created at stream crossings by the bombings of bridges and ferry installations. With respect to Laos, the objective is to extend rainfall through the dry season, which began in November and continues through April and May, keeping the ground as near the saturation point as possible and obstructing traffic that normally fords streams during the low water period. If you're interested in this, you can click the link below and read the rest of it if you'd like. It's fairly long. It's telling you this is from 1966 or 1967, Washington, January 13th, 1967, and they are telling you that the cloud seeding operations were more than successful. It exceeded their expectations, and everything that they wanted it to do, it done. And from that point forward, we have just moved on with that weather modification, if they had that in 1965 and were able to stop a country from moving goods, what are they capable of doing now? In my upcoming videos, I will be bringing out the regulations that, some of the regulations that are on weather modification, some of the reporting regulations. So if you find yourself interested in this, just join us, and we will continue to bring out the true documentation on weather modification. Thanks a lot.